Welcome back to another episode of Positive Vibes, maybe. PVM the Talk Show. I'm one fraction of the team. I go by the name of Dante Dash Smith. And tonight we talking about gratitude, appreciation, you know, just just taking just taking space for time, to understand yourself and just to appreciate everything that you've received in life. This episode is really inspired a lot in part because of what happened to the artist Takeoff. What you Finn? How you feeling, player? All right, yo, quick shout out, guys. Finn, Spin the Block Part 3 is happening this upcoming Wednesday. Make sure you guys purchase your ticket right at Caroline's nightclub, right up in New York City. Make sure you guys purchase your ticket. It's this Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. So if you're not doing nothing, make sure you guys go out, support the event, get a good laugh in, all the good vibes, all the good energy. So, tune in, go out, enjoy yourselves. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a phenomenal artist. So, definitely tap in, support. I'm going to post a link up in the stories. So if you guys don't follow Finn, you guys can tap into the stories and then y'all can have a way to access y'all tickets from there. But definitely do that. That was just a quick little shout out. Ms. Davis, how you doing today, love? But like I was saying, back to the inspiration of today's episode. It was inspired in part because of what happened with the artist Takeoff and him being killed, and it just kind of just brought more light to something that's been happening, like just with our youth and people in general that's been happening to all our loved ones, honestly, like about as far as people just dying, people not really getting their flowers while they're here to appreciate them. And it's just like, it's kind of a reminder, like, kind of got to tell your loved ones how much you care for them, how much you appreciate them, how much you value them. Why are you here? And kind of, express what people mean to you, why they can still hear it, instead of as always when they're gone. So that's pretty much the gist of today's episode. Like let us know y'all stories, how y'all feel, appreciation stories that y'all have with any loved ones. And let's kick this thing off. I see my co-host has jumped up in the room, so I'm about to send this invite and then we can get this episode really going. For everybody, how is everyone feeling on this Sunday? I feel like it's summer, even though it's the middle of November. Like, but I'm not complaining though. Global warming definitely something, but I'm not gonna complain. I'm just gonna enjoy this facet of it. So, uh, oh, there he is. Oh, what's up with you, Jeide? How you doing?
I'm chilling, Dad. I'm chilling. Fam, how you living, man? How you living?
I'm chilling. I can't complain. I was
Word,
woken up this morning.
word. You look better, man.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little better. Like every day. I'm still not like 100%, but I'm getting there. Like I'm at least 95, 98%. I'm good where I'm not contagious. So I've been moving. But
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's
you
good to
know,
hear, man.
yeah, can't be in the bed for too long. Otherwise I'm ready to have them write me out. But I was just telling. How you feeling though? First of all, before we even get into all this.
I'm good, man. I'm groovy, you know what I mean? My daughter just had a poopy, which is great news for any parent out there. Y'all know what time it is. Like, you know what I mean? When your child poops, it's good news. Yeah, okay. So I just got the news live, you know what I'm saying? Um, New work week coming up. I ain't got to work too much this week, so that's cool. You know what I mean? Thanksgiving around the corner. It's gonna be family time, so it's gonna be a nice balance of things. You know what I mean? But I'm still here. God is good, so I'm good along with it.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, I gotta give a quick shout out to my baby sister. It's her birthday today, so happy
Oh,
birthday, Daz.
happy birthday! Happy born day! Happy born day!
Yeah, like she getting old. She getting old. Yeah, but it's good though. Like, but like, like that's. I mean, that's another aspect to like, it's a nice episode, and it really ain't have no title. It's just like showing appreciation, showing gratitude, showing love, just kind of, embracing the moment is kind of what I'm going to name this episode, embracing the moment, and appreciating your loved ones. Because I'm going to tell you, like, the takeoff news, it inspired this episode heavily, but it wasn't the only inspiration. It was just kind of like a highlight of how I was already feeling, like, like giving flowers and just, it felt wrong, but it also felt kind of poetic that it was like him, because it was like someone that was like responsible for a large wave and like a whole genre changing, but he was never really fully appreciated, or like given his flowers. Like we knew of his value, but we never really was just like, yo, thank you for what you gave to the culture. And it kind of just said to me, like, like, who are those loved ones that I haven't really told thank you to, that inspired me, that's helped me, like the ones in my life, like, like they might not get the praise that others would get, but like they've been vital to my growth, my being who I am, like, and like even not even just like thanking them, just kind of like appreciating like the moments I share with them, and even like the moments I've experienced that's been bad, like without them, like, and appreciating them, and understanding like their role in my growth, and not always just like thriving for just like the best outcome, but also thriving for just like the outcome, like whether it's good or bad, and just being comfortable within that space, and being, and like having the knowledge just to be comfortable within, like everything's gonna be okay,
Mm.
And like honestly, like Jay, I ain't gonna hold you, like these last 2 weeks, my old head's kind of been talking to me, like not like in as far as like trying to give me guidance, but just like in regular conversation, what they've been saying has just been like on point of where I've been feeling or where I've been, wanting to get out my system, but it's just been, I haven't been able to articulate it, in a way. Like for instance, one of my guys, he a little older. Well, he much older than me, but he's good for like kind of keeping me in the space of living in the moment. Like when I see him in the mornings, is always yo, I'm just happy to be alive. I'm just happy the Lord woke me up today, Dante. I can't even have no complaints. And it kind of gave me real time perspective. Like even if I'm having a bad morning, like in that moment, it'll just be like, why am I having a bad moment? Like, okay, yeah, you're having a bad moment, but you're not having a bad day. I mean, like you can chalk this shit out. It's not really as big as I'm making it out to be. But like, it'll be into those moments where the clarity hit me, where I'm just like, you know what, this is really not that bad. Like, it could be worse. Like, thank you. Like, and I started thanking the Lord, like, for like the moments I go through it, and then it kind of make me more appreciated throughout the day. And it's kind of that that pattern has been like following me lately, and I honestly been feeling like it's been more of a reflection of the people around me, but the people around me been telling me it's more so me giving it to them, which been eye-opening to me, because like in that same breath, how I told you he inspired me, he was telling me how I was inspiring him, and he was just like, yo, you come up in here, I know you be going through your things. He was like, I can see it in your eyes that you going through some things, but you'll never let whatever you're going through get the best of you. Like in here, I can see, like, yeah, you fighting demons, but you getting the best of your demons and you fighting them. I see you constantly doing it. And I see when you're stressed out and you take that breath to yourself and you're like, trying to challenge yourself. And you're like, I know it's hard. You're just like, because I've been there. And like, honestly, that do so much to me. Like when I, like, he tell me that, because just like, I don't even be noticing people noticing it, but it let me know, like, okay, somebody watching, it kind of gave me like some relief, like, all right, at least I know like what I'm doing is helping to a certain extent, and I'm not just fucking up, and I guess that kind of guidance just kind of sit with me, like to a certain extent, like where it sit with me harder, especially like when it's from someone older than me, like, cause I always had that like appreciation where it's just like when an old head says something, I still get a little in my little chest where I'm just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I like to make the old heads happy. Like, it do something to my heart when they be like, yo, I see you. It be like, it make me feel like, yo, I'm really doing something. So,
Yeah, I dig that.
yeah. So that's where I've been at, space wise, and that's kind of where this episode was inspired.
Okay, right on, right on. You know what I mean? Fully respect, for your journey, for where you are. It's not easy to keep level head when you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with, you know what I mean? Enough to go into the world and not project the energy that you're dealing with, or the energy from things that you're dealing with onto other people that don't deserve it. You know what I mean? That shit ain't easy. You know what I mean? So kudos to you first and foremost. I'll give you flowers on that. It's not easy. You have to have some years under your belt for you to be able to understand how to compartmentalize when it comes to things. But yeah, it's important. It's important to let people know that, we see you. You know what I mean? And it's not a surprise that your coworker said what he said, as far as, they see it coming from you first, you know what I'm saying? Because
See, that was for me.
you're not dead, you feel me? You're alive. And so you're a vibration, and vibrations vibrate. So when you're doing something, it's like an echo. An echo bounces off of matter in order for it to be alive enough that you hear the reverberation of it as it continues to echo and bounce. You know what I'm saying? So it's every little thing you do has a certain accountability attached to it that's going to lead to somebody's positive notions of understanding certain aspects of it, or negative notions of understanding certain aspects of it, because you're not dead. The only thing that won't be able to account for any type of vibration is something that is not moving, but you're moving. Even if you are quiet, you can go into a room quiet as shit, not bother nobody. Somebody might feel some type of way just off of that, because you're moving. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's not a surprise, because, as long as you're focusing on yourself, the people don't see it, man. People don't see it. It's one of the things I really appreciate from a past failed relationship is being able to understand that, you know what I mean, no matter what you're doing, the people will know. The people know how to determine whether you're in a happy relationship or not. And it's not hard. It's not hard. You can't hide it from the people for long. They'll either see it through your lady, see it through you, or see it through the way that y'all interact. You can't hide that shit. You know what I mean? And through that, I was able to appreciate, first of all, definitely appreciate where I am now in terms of a relationship. But I was able to appreciate the nuances of the energy that I let off. The nuances of my judgment as far as who I allow to walk with me, who I walk with, because all that shit matters. If I'm walking with somebody that make me look crazy out in the street, I can't fuck with you on this. I might fuck with you in the office when we not walking, but I can't fuck with you walking in the street. Make me look crazy. And I might have to walk. Might have to do something outside of my character just to achieve a certain balance within myself, for me to find myself back to homeostasis. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I appreciate. Once again, super embarrassing, super humiliating moments. But from those moments, I appreciate how to move. I appreciate how to be mindful, to be aware of my surroundings, those around me, and things of that nature. So in that case, I like to give personally flowers to those who've done me wrong as well. I would not have been where I am now if I never had the people in my life, or who were a part of my life, to which I may be able to juxtapose myself versus them, and know that I'm supposed to be here and you're supposed to be over there. No matter if I had to walk through the mud in order to learn that lesson, or I had to shed blood a few times in order to learn that lesson, it was a lesson well worth learning. And Kang, I see you, man. What's going on with you, fam?
I know. How you doing, player? That's real talk. Cause that kind of that kind of brings up to like the heart of the subject, like, and that's is honestly just knowing the right people to choose to be in your life, and being mindful of relationships that you cultivate, because like that's a big part of showing appreciation and showing gratitude is kind of like showing that you learned the lessons that you experienced as well, like right or wrong, and actually applying them on your life. Like if you went through the experience and you learned the lesson, or you taught the lesson, you identified the lesson, but you didn't apply like what the lesson taught you, did you really learn in the end, and that's that circle's gonna keep on coming around. And like as you were talking, you kind of reminded me of this sermon I seen earlier this week. It was on YouTube. It was by this pastor, Darius. I forgot what his last name is, but he
Mm.
was talking about the same thing you were talking about. I'm going to actually send it to you once we get off the slide because it's
Yeah,
pretty
please
good.
do.
Yeah, it was good because he talked about it like a lot of different topics, but the one thing he talked about was like being mindful of like who you choose to be in relationships with, and that's platonically and romantically. And he was like, we as people, we take this lazy approach and selecting the people that we keep in our circle, and then we wonder why our lives turned out the way we are. He was just like,
Mm.
it's just like you're like, whether it's romantic or platonic, be mindful of the people and what they do and what they bring to the circle, and actually understanding who these people are before you, and involve them in your circle so intimately, and doff them in your lives where at the point that they vital members. Because he was just like, even if you just trying to be quote unquote a good friend, that good friend could be the downfall to whatever you getting going or trying to get going, because you're trying to be the good friend instead of doing what God intended you to do. Like some relationships you do have to kind of let hit the wayside, like, and they'll come back around if they're meant to be in your life, and if they're not, like some people were meant to be in your life for a season. No love
Mm.
lost. It's just you kind of got to understand, like, some people are here for the long haul, and then some people aren't. Like some people are going to be
Mm.
your roots, and then some people are going to be your leaves. They're going to fall off, and they're going to go away. Don't mean like it's love. It's love lost. It's just it's just the way life took you. And
Mm.
sometimes we can get confused, because he used like a whole tree analogy up in it, and that's what I love the most, because he was just like, we'll get confused sometimes by certain relationships that hold on. He was just like, that may feel like branches, and because they've been around a long time, we feel like, okay, I can't let this relationship go. I can't do this out damage this relationship. Where sometimes branches break, and you kind of got you gotta let that fall off, no matter how long it's been there. And I was just like, damn, like, the analogy is on point, because that's real. Like, it do be those relationships that been around, and those be the ones that be the hardest to let go, because you've already invested so much time in getting to know a person. You think you know them, and you may know them, but people change daily, like, and the way they change and the way you change, it just might not be on the same path anymore. And you do have to, at some point, kind of figure out, kind of got to choose you, and you kind of got to be grateful and gratitude to yourself as well, and hold yourself to a certain level of like, like, this is where I'm at now. This is the exercises of myself, like, how
Mm.
am I meeting myself? Because at the same time, where you want to give people their flowers, you want to give yourself your flowers too. Like, you want to show appreciation to yourself. Like, because that's really important too. Like, that's where the self love stuff and the self love starts. And you can't really accept flowers being given to you, or actually even appreciate someone, um, giving honestly giving you any good compliments, if you're not even good within yourself. Like, if you feel bad within yourself, don't matter the positive things anybody telling you, it's really gonna fall on deaf ears. Like, you accept it, you're okay, like, and maybe even in the moment you'll be cool with it, but like overall, like, it's still not gonna do nothing for you, because you're not good for yourself.
Yeah.
Wait, Chev got this comment. He got truth is you always were, you're supposed to be even. The moment is shitty. And he said, getting bait, chasing colors.
Word though. And as a testament to what Chev is saying, and also to connect the dots to, what you're saying, especially via the the preacher that you just quoted not verbatim from, you know,
You come into this world as who you are, and first of all, you coming into this world, into this very temporal world. You got 60, 70 years here on average. You know, in a good lifespan, God bless you, might have upwards of 80, 90, you know, or if God ready for you sooner than that, you might have 30, 40. You know what I mean? Some people don't even meet that.
Yeah.
But the fact is, we come into an existence that is a season. This lifespan that we're living in and of itself is a season. We experience seasons within a season, within a grand season, because after this is a whole other chapter. So, you know, letting go is a trademark of wisdom. You know, people transition, go to the next level as far as, you know, when their vessel can no longer move, when their vessel gives up the spirit, people transition as far as those who graduate high school, go to college, you know what I mean? People transition as far as those who get high paying jobs, or they chase their passions and they achieve their goals and things of that nature. Transition is a change, which is a promise, a constant that we live within, or not live within, but that we live as a part of in this grand season. So, you know, it's like the whole day one thing is trippy, because as real as it is, like you said, people change, but even more so than that, you know, put it on your own shoulders. Where do you expect to go? I believe it's Martin Luther King that might have said this. If not, then, you know, please, whoever's in the live, correct me. Miss Miracle Lee was going on. That African butterfly was going on with y'all. Please correct me, but I believe it was Martin Luther King who said, you know, if you live, it might have been Martin Luther King or Muhammad Ali, one of the two, that if you live in your 20s and then you hit your 30s and you haven't learned anything, you've wasted 10 years. Like, if you're the same person, rather, that's what it is. If you're the same person, you've wasted 10 years. You know what I mean?
Real.
So, you know, like, even if you've known somebody since kindergarten, since preschool, since the womb, you know, at some point, wisdom would lead you to understand that people have their own paths. We ain't gonna hold hands forever. That's in any case. You know what I'm saying? Ali, much love. The Fun Size Fan. Appreciate you. I knew it was one of those two brothers. I appreciate you for that. But you ain't gonna hold hands forever. You know what I mean? At some point in time, you're going to meet a fork in the road, and that's going to lead to a difference in journeys. You know what I mean? And you can't be spiteful, or you can't be resentful about that, because if that's the case, then you haven't done enough work on your own to understand where the fuck you need to go. You know what I'm saying? And even applying depth to the matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people might feel some type of way that somebody had to transition, in the sense that they're no longer here with us, of course, because we're human. But at the end of the day, like, shit, bruh, all of our vessels at some point in time are going to either get tired, or something might just happen to interrupt. I won't even say interrupt, but to lead us to that next chapter in the time that it was meant for us to go. It's what you're doing here now that makes the most sense of the time that we have within this grand season. You know, so understanding that allows life to be that much more flavorful when it comes to family, when it comes to friends, when it comes to people of that nature. I find myself always looking at my situation when it came to my mom transitioning, and, you know, me moving, leaving Philadelphia, and then having conversations with certain people that I call family once upon a time. And they just, you know what I mean, their energy and everything was just like, do I even know you? Like, really? That's how you feel? And then with other people who knew me less than, but the connection was real enough for them to understand and say, damn, like, this is gonna be the last time I talk to you, huh? And I'm like, yeah, man, pretty much. And they were just like, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. It's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting, man. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, that's when people colors really start to show. Like it's not always about the length of the relationship, but it's about the relationship bringing value to. Like people value different relationships differently. It don't matter like how long I know you. It just matter about the connection we establish with one another, rapport we have. And then go from there. But I mean, like you said, like all right. So I do agree with that because I do feel like it's something you said where you was just like the transition time, where you got to see a lot of people character, and that time I do feel like it's moments in each person like that kind of reveal to you who your roots are, and who are the people that is going to kind of take that journey with you, as opposed to who is going to just be around for the seasons, and even moments that reveal who they are, kind of test. It's kind of I feel like the universe way of testing like y'all value towards each other. Like we'll be put in situations where you'll have to see my value towards your life and vice versa, and then from there you kind of got to decide. And I even have like that moment. I feel like I had that moment where like a lot of people in my life, and it's kind of been determining like who my circle is, and it's kind of been helping me easier identify, and be comfortable with, letting certain relationships go, letting certain situations pass, and just being more mindful of like, okay, you know what, this is my circle, like I know I'm loved, like I know I'm cared for, I know, like I got good relationships with people, even if I don't connect with them every day, and then I'm able to be like, okay, this is my circle, and like even if I don't talk to my circle every day, I know who my circle is, So once I got that comfort and that peace of mind, it's just like, you know what, whatever happens, wherever I go through, wherever relationships come, wherever relationships go, I'm comfortable in that space to be like, you know what, it is what it is, like I know who's for me, I know who I'm for, and like I know like my circle isn't fully established, and like even while I feel like I had my circle established, that may change, at time, because I'm always growing and they're always growing. But I'm comfortable enough to know like the people I consider, my family, my circle, my loved ones, they're gonna be around, whether I'm talking to them or not, like they're gonna be around. Like I feel like, if I really reach out, like they're accessible to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a matter of me taking that step and reaching out. So um that's a big thing, like I definitely like when you said it just kind of just one of the things that I just wanted to highlight, because I feel like, a lot of times like, well, a lot of times with accepting gratitude and, like just kind of accepting your flowers, and it's kind of just, it's hard for people to acknowledge like who their circle is, what, without feeling like they like disvaluing someone's, but they're being comfortable enough to be like, you know what, like this person means this much to me, Not saying that you don't mean anything to me. It's just this person means this to me, like, and I see clearly how much value they bring to me. Not saying that you don't bring value to me, but it's just I'm clear enough to know like this person brings a certain level that I would be, I know I would be at a disservice if I lost, like. And it's just like, like it's just being comfortable enough to just kind of identify those relationships, say what it is, and be comfortable in that space, like let people be who they're gonna be, Um, like the biggest thing for me, I guess, is just like I've been hearing like, and I kind of been living where it's just like, one of my friends, she said this to me earlier. She was just like, you just kind of just taking like this it is what it is, and I was just like it kind of be that way. It is what it is, like with everything, from relationships to business, to like not taking anything too personal, where I can kind of live in the moment, because as you said earlier, we only get like a good 60, 80 years up in this thing, like as I get older, I'm becoming more mindful of my time, and I'm listening to older people's stories. I'm hearing them explain like how they gave this amount of years of working to this company, or they did this for this long before they really got to enjoy or live the life they thought they lived. And I'm like, as I hear these stories, it makes me more mindful of like how I allocate my time, and like, yo, I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to be years from now, yo, I wish I would have did X, Y, Z when I was younger. I already got too many of those skeletons where I'm trying to shed now. So it's just like while I'm here, it's just like I'm trying to live it up. I'm trying to live life the way I want to live it, like on my terms, but the way I want to. Like I understand I can't do everything the way I want to, but where I can, I am. Like and just kind of I guess, accepting my flowers too, like being mindful, like there is a future to build towards, but also being mindful of like, I might not get to see that future. So live in the moment too, like don't be so caught up in building towards something that I might not never get to see. Or by the time I get to see, like the time I get to really reap the benefits of it would be like minimal, where it's just like, what, I did all this for like a week of happiness, like was the trade off really that great, or was it just a trade off, like and I guess that's my biggest thing, like trying to be mindful of that, like that is my biggest thing, like even with accepting flowers, just like all right, accept the flowers, you know, be mindful of your loved ones, be mindful of yourself, but also, like invite yourself, enjoy yourself, enjoy life. Like I don't want to just be working and just working and I don't want to just be working and paying bills. I want to be living life. I want to be cherishing moments with my loved ones, even if it's a walk. Walk in the park. I want to have moments. I want to look back and be like, okay, we did X, Y, and Z, or we shared this experience, we shared that experience, or like feel like I had real connections. Like so. Like when I do lose someone, I don't feel like that need of like explaining how you explain later, like being mad that they left, because I went through that, and for me it always ate me up because it was just like it was more so pain on my side because it was just like I always felt like I should have made more of a conscious effort to be there in their lives, and them dying kind of robbed me of that opportunity to share that moment with them. But it was just like, nah, I robbed myself of that opportunity, like I just had to put them as a priority instead of like, not a priority at that time, So like kind of just, micromanage my time a little bit. Not even micromanage my time, but just manage my time in a way where like I get to, I get to build, but also get to experience moments with those I care about as well. So I don't have that regret. So I don't have that ache in my heart, like when it do happen, when somebody do leave me and I'm just like, damn, like I wish I would have had this moment, or I wish I would have had that moment, or I wish we would have had this time together, like and even with that, even if I do have one of the moments, I'm still probably gonna have that feeling regardless because like you can never have too many moments with your loved ones. Like that's really just something we say like, but like honestly, I mean, who's to determine how many moments you should or shouldn't have for the person? Like that's really up to you and how you personally feel. But at the same time, like I just know like with me, like when people go like the first thing to do jump out to me is like, what could I have done, like the, you know, reach out or connect more. And sometimes it's nothing. Like sometimes it's nothing I could have done. Like I've done all I could have done. Like it's just more so just being comfortable and accepting and, being grateful for the fact that I did share this time that I did get to share with you, And that was the time we were supposed to share with each other, and that's okay.
Yeah, agreed. One thing that I like to do these days because, you know, sitting with myself for some time, knowing how, I guess how I could be digested from other people as far as maybe possibly easygoing, as far as, agreeable. I've gotten that before. And it's interesting because, I don't say that I'm not, but I have contrary thoughts a lot. I just don't let them come to the surface. But, just in line with what you're talking about as far as, um, connecting, doing for self, yet you're still doing with the mindfulness of bringing your circle around, or even just like bringing people into the fold, staying in contact with people. But with me personally, not interjecting myself into it, and being mindful of not only my mortality, but it's necessary for me to transition in more ways than one. You know, I had a conversation with my cousin. He's in Newark, but he was in rehab. I think he might be back in rehab, but I haven't seen him in a long time. And you know, he's been going through some dire straits. He had a cyst in his spine a few years ago that was removed, and it rendered him unable to walk. But he was told that, you know, you do your physical therapy, you know what I mean, you're diligent upon, you know, the things that will lead you to being able to walk. You'll be able to walk again. And whether he did so or not is not for me to say, but I do know that he is still unable to walk. His mom, my auntie, died a few years ago on Christmas Day. And then his pop died earlier this year. So he was going through it. So while I was still, you know, near him, I decided to visit him. And I went up to the rehab, and I saw his condition, and it broke me. You know what I mean? Like, his legs were like, you know, when you blow up a balloon and then you deflate it, but it's never the same again. It's wrinkled, and you know it was blown up before, but it's not as slim as it was when it wasn't blown up. That's kind of how his legs were. And it's funny because his family was telling me that he was going through some things. His legs was just inflamed and whatnot. He was in rehab because he had some infected sores. And I had to talk to him. I had to talk to him in a way that I let him know, you know, look, man, while we're still alive, we still have time to do things. I'm not going, look, you know what I mean? I put myself on the chopping board. Bless you. I put myself on the chopping board. I'm like, man, don't get it twisted just because you see me the way that I look or whatnot. You know what I mean? I had my other chain on or whatnot. I know that he felt some type of way. I said, bro, this shit heavy as fuck. This is my mind chain. So don't think that I'm just here. Don't think I'm just here like flexing or whatnot. This is my mind chain. Every time I wear this, I'm reminded of somebody who's not here no more. That I gotta carry in spirit. So don't get shit fucked up. And I was just letting them know, man, look, like, bro, it's time is now, man. The time is now. And I only say that to say this, you know, and in all of my connections, I'd like to say that there's an awareness of my being there for a season. I'm there for a season. I'm there for a reason in everybody's life. But because I have a purpose and because I'm driven by certain convictions, certain principles that connect me to where I believe that I'm meant to be led, you know, I'm selfless enough to always show love to the best of my capacity as I continue to grow. But I'm selfish enough to keep it funky enough so that, you know, look, bro, you need to do for self, bro. Like, because if I'm no longer here, you can't call me as an anchor if I'm somewhere else, some doing this, that, and the third, and you might reach out and you can't get me. You know what I mean? You can feel all you can feel the type of way that you want towards me. Sure, I can't take that away from you. But what you can't take away from me is the fact that I was over here doing this for my family. And if this was real, man, like, even as an application to my cousin, if this shit was real, man, like a few years ago when you could walk, we could have been linked up and did some shit. If it was real, you know what I'm saying? If it was real, you know what I'm saying? You could have reached out and been on some shit. You didn't even reach out. You could have been on some shit as far as where you know you needed to go and things of that nature. And not to say that he wasn't on his shit and that's why he is where he is. What I'm saying, and the only pertinent part of this whole entire thing is, with every moment that passes, we're accountable for our own growth and we're accountable for where we are in relation to where we're meant to go. You know what I'm saying? And that's a harsh reality that not a lot of people can sit with, because sometimes we feel like we have this Superman thing where we want to carry all these people. My lady did the illest thing when I got with her earlier in our relationship. There was a lot of people that I was just connected to for what reason, I don't know. And she just questioned me. It was a very simple question. She was like, why is this person in your life?
And it made me think. I'm like, man.
It make you think. It'd be the simplest of questions. Like,
simple. I'm like, and there's no beef.
But it's just like, I know myself.
People reach out to me
Because, you know,
I might offer something.
I might have something that they ask for. I might have something that I know that when I give it to them, it makes them feel good, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
Like, even if we
Put us in on chopping block, you know what I mean? I don't reach out to you like that, but when you reach out, we have a mutual understanding of what we're reaching out for. You give me, I give you.
You know what I'm saying? I had connections with
People who were hitting me up because it was just give. It was like take. You know what I'm saying? And then what they give, it was inconsequential to the shit that I needed.
But
because I was accessible and I didn't mind being accessible, I didn't mind that. But when my lady asked me that question, it put some things into perspective. Like, why am I having this person around? It's no beef once again,
but I got a broad back, but shit ain't meant to hold
the world.
No, that's all too real. That's all too real. I mean, that honestly, when I talk about like finding your circle, that's where I'm really referring to, because that's something I had to figure out as well. Like, I wasn't even blessed enough, like how you were, to have somebody to point it out. Like, it just kind of was showing up in real time facets where, like, I'd be, for me, it was like I have a conversation with someone, and like in the midst of having a conversation, and then like telling me like their story or whatever means of why we had to have a conversation, and within that conversation, the thought hit me like, why am I sharing this conversation? Like, what really is, like, what really are they bringing here? Like, besides, like, I guess, entertainment, like, and like in a lot of instances, it was just, a lot of people just gossiping or just kind of venting their problems. And I was almost playing like a therapist of sorts. And it was just like, do I really want to do this with my time and energy? Like, is this really something that's going to add to me? Or is this part of where I feel like it's draining me? Is this part of where I feel like it's making me feel like so agitated and so tired, because I'm carrying other people's baggage and shit with me while I'm carrying my own, legs getting weak and everything, like, but nobody offering a hand to grab any bags or nothing. Like, it just see me struggling with the luggage, like, like, and it's just like, no, I don't want to keep dealing with this. I don't want to, like, I love you, but I don't want to deal with your shit, like, you process and work through that on your own, like. And like, if you come over here and I reciprocate, if you reciprocate for me, like, I take a bag off if you taking a bag off mine, like, whatever I'm giving, I just want to get it back, and it's not, even if it is selfish, I just want that, like, that's just my standard for myself, and like, that's holding myself accountable to be like, all right, you know what, like, you deserve to have somebody pour into you as much as you pour into others. So if I'm pouring into this relationship, well, yeah, I do have that expectation of you being in a relationship with me, whether it's platonic or romantic, to pour back into me, because you know what? If I'm doing the same, I want the same reciprocated. And that's okay to ask, and that's okay to demand as well, like. So sometimes when you put those expectations and demands on a person, you figure out who really want to take that role, and who, this was just a means of this, as you said, like, I was accessible. This just accommodated me, like, things were just so easy. I didn't really have to lift a finger to work too much to establish or to hold on to this relationship. You did the holding on, and I don't want to be in those type of relationships where I feel like I'm shouldering all the weight. I'm shouldering all the responsibility, like, I'm the reason, like, the relationship is maintaining. Like, if you're not, it's like a give and take, I'm going to use a seesaw. I want it to kind of be like that, because things are never going to be even at the same time, but it's going to be moments I give more, and there's going to be moments that you give more. But as long as it's just that balance, like, we could be cool. But when that balance disappears, it's just like, all right, well, why am I here? You know, besides what I'm giving to you, what are you giving back to me? You know, to make me want to continue, you know, this relationship. And it's no bad thing, like you said. Like it's no bad blood, it's no ill will, it's no nothing. It's just like, look, you know, like it's just real. Like my life expectancy, you know, compared to like your happiness, it just means more to me. You know, like I mean more to me than you mean more to me. You know, and that's okay. You know, because it has to be that way. You know, and if you can't really, if that's an issue for you, then you know what. It's probably best you walk away. Like it is best that you walk away. You doing both of us a favor, you know. Like so, you know, like being selfish is a way of, you know, kind of being selfless, like in a way,
Yeah.
like you have to be selfish to be selfless, like.
There's something that you said with the seesaw, because like
I've always had an attention. I've always had something about attention since a kid. It might be attention deficit. It might be hyperactivity. I don't know. But look, like I've been a kid where it's like I go to the playground and you know what I mean, I might fuck with the seesaw, but I gotta fuck with something else after a while. You know what I'm saying? Like nah, real shit. Like I was a kid when I was young. Me and my friends, we would make games
in the playground.
Because it wasn't enough to just play with the playground shit. That shit got boring after a while. We had to create worlds with the shit in the playground in order to make the playground valuable for us. You know what I'm saying? So expanding upon that metaphor, you know, I
I did what you're saying, but
as for me, it's like it's a weird thing where it's like
you know, even if it's something
where I pour into a person, you know what I mean, and not even expect, but they pour back into me. It's some things like, you know, it's certain things that I don't want poured back into me. You know what I'm saying? If I pour wine for you, you pour sludge for me. I don't think that's fair.
you know what I mean?
My cousin, not my cousin. He's technically, yeah, he is my cousin.
Yeah, he is my cousin. So my cousin,
you know, long history, long story. I don't think it don't matter, but
I had to cut him off
and tell him that he needed to get well before he can get back into my life, like last year. And he said something that really hurt me. He said, in the midst of me, you know, cutting him off and just like showing him the shit that he did that I ain't really fuck with.
He said, you know, we're family. If anything
were to happen to me, I'm gonna come to you. And I felt hurt. I'm like,
and I told him this. I'm like, bro, I'm not your
father.
Like, that's not how this shit works. Like,
anything happens to you, you just gonna run to me?
Yeah.
The fuck?
It's too much responsibility. Like,
it's not.
It is. It's too much responsibility. Plus, it's not mine to bear.
Like,
as well.
Are we not grown?
Are we not
that part.
grown?
No, that part.
My cousin I'm talking about, he older than me.
Oh yeah.
Like, what are we
doing here? Like, this is not what we doing.
Like, once again, to
what I was saying, as far as, you know, let's say it's you.
You go ahead and you
got something cooking for the Food Network
with Fly Mouth Dash, and then you get a phone call from
somebody from back at the crib,
and they're like, yo, man, can I hold man, like,
I'm in the hole for XYZ.
Oh, I'm broke.
They call. It's always something like that. But what binds y'all is the fact that y'all family.
What binds y'all is the fact
that he did something for you 10, 20 years ago when you was in the low.
That's what binds y'all. It's nothing new that continues to bind,
because you know when it's a ladder, every few
inches you get another ring. But this nigga's
ring was all the way down here, and there's a whole fucking gap. So how are we climbing?
All you got is
2 poles.
Ain't no more rings.
Ain't no more of these. It's just 2 poles at this point.
And then you gonna continue to look back at the
2 poles and be like, yo, support me.
Dog, it's 2 poles. We ain't even a
ladder no more. We're pipes.
We're pipes at this point.
Do you know what these
Pipes
pipes?
are for. These pipes might be for an infrastructure.
These pipes might
Be for a home. You're not even asking that question because you're too busy looking at the fact that it was a ladder.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I
So
feel you.
it's like, you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying as far as, you know what I mean, pouring to me, I pour into you. But like, once again, just to connect to where I am, it's like I don't mind pouring.
But, you know, I'm a traveler.
When I'm here, I'm here.
That's the best way to
Put it. When I'm here, I'm here.
But I mean, even that's a form of pour. You know, you're just pouring while you're there. You know, like just want to. Well, for me, I just want this reciprocation of things. Like I'm at a point where reciprocation is key for me. Like I've poured in enough wells where I'm tired of my well running dry. Essentially. So, like for me, reciprocation is key. Like, and like I'm mindful enough to know like where, or like at least enough to know to identify like when someone isn't pouring properly into me. Like I'm not just accepting any old pour. Like you ain't gonna just come to the congregation just offering any and everything. Like it is certain levels and expectations I hold the people around me too. Like and to me, and that's for me as well. Like it's certain expectations I'm holding myself to. Like I need to meet. Like as far as like maintaining relationships with my loved ones and like making sure like they know like it's an open door policy and like the love is there and like they don't have to question it because what I don't want to be like, I don't want to have questions, but I don't want my loved ones to have questions either. I don't want it to be a question within their minds where it's just like, did he really love me like he said he did? Or did he really, whatever the case may be, I want it to be like visual, like for them to know, like, yo, I really do. Like even if I'm not talking to you every day or I'm not doing X, Y, and Z, that you would prefer I would do, like like in your heart of hearts, like, yo, like Tay love me, like or Tay like, like and like even like a couple of my conversations been ending that way. I had a conversation with my grandma where she was kind of saying that to me and she was just like, and there was another inspiration for this episode because it was just like kind of being mindful of like I said, showing appreciation, but it was just like her, like she was just like, you know what, I'm proud of what you're doing, like I just want to tell you what you mean to me. But it was just like another one of those things where it's just like, you know what, I just want to tell my people, how much they mean to me when I got the time to tell them what they mean to me, instead of waiting for a moment or waiting for a special occasion. It could just be a random ass Wednesday and I just be like, yo, you know what, I love you, I appreciate you, I appreciate the value you bring to my life. I appreciate you just for being you, like even if it is nothing like that you bring, I just appreciate your presence. Appreciate you for being who you wake up to be in the morning and just, decide to wake up and be that person. Because sometimes, person dealing with something behind the scenes, like can't even put to words what they're dealing with, And like sometimes like it's not even sometimes I had experience with people like it's not even what they say or what they do, it's just them being them, like them living their life and just me just seeing them prosper and living through their life. It's just like that's the motivation, that's the inspiration in itself. Like that's the I can do it, like I can clearly see my man going through something, like but wherever it is, like they prospering, they winning, they getting through it, like it's not getting the best of them, like and that's inspiration enough. Like you don't have to know the storm that a person fighting to appreciate, the fight within them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel that. And on that note,
I feel like that's a beautiful way to close out this conversation. You know what I'm saying? So on my walkout, I wish you love, man. I love you, brother. I'm proud of what you're doing with Fly 'em Out. I'm grateful of what you've done and helping myself, helping Kang with the establishment and building PVM. As a brother outside of the business, I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you. I give you flowers, man.
Same, I love you too. I'm sending you your flowers, sending purpers to, you know, And like I just like transformation that you went through as a man. Since we started this thing. Honestly, since we done met to begin with. Just see your growth and evolution as a man from the time I met you with the dress to now, and who you are. And who you keep on becoming to be. And honestly, like just for being you, like a lot of times, like it's just comforting, just to have conversations with you, like even if I don't tell you where I'm going through, it's comforting enough. Even if we're not even talking about it, sometimes like the topics and just having conversations just to kind of give me perspectives and get my mind thinking where, like I'll be able to piece together this, that, and the third, or even just like find comfort in what I'm going through, where it's not, like it gave me real clarity in the moment in the situations.
Right on, right on.
And to Namade, she said, "Good convo, guys. I love you guys too. You rock. We love you as well, Namade."
Yes, we definitely love you. Thank you. Thank you for rocking with us, Imade. Thank you, Fun Size Fan. Thank you for everybody who dropped their comments, who've been watching us throughout the duration, pardon me, of this conversation. Listen, I'm about to walk up out and check on my daughter, you know what I'm saying? Life is life. But before we out, man, Patreon. We're gonna have a holiday opportunity in which we are going to open up a possibility for somebody to possibly join PVM as far as our digital street team and be on a payroll. But we're going to open that conversation and that not sweepstakes, but that opportunity a little bit later on in the year. You know what I mean? But that's just putting it out there for right now. Patreon. Y'all go to Patreon. Y'all subscribe. Y'all make sure that y'all pick the only option, which is pay as you will. Pay what you will. We'll refund whatever it is. If it's underneath what we have prescribed, if it's over, thank you for the love. If it's right there, then thank you for the exact measurement. But Dash is gonna have some cooking segments on there. I'm gonna have some poetry/rap segments on there. Chev is gonna have some aviation classes. I'll let y'all figure out what that means. Plus, we're gonna have a lot more to offer as far as our Patreon. I'll go check out our Patreon. Check out our Patreon. Check out T-shirt mercenaries. Check out our sponsor. You know what I'm saying? Check out Dash, fly him out. You know what I'm saying? Check out Chev, everything that he's got going as the groove. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get down, y'all get familiar. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you want to say to wrap this up, bro?
No, just stay in good vibrations, everybody. Stay peace and blessings. Love your loved ones. Appreciate the time you share with them. Enjoy your vices and stay safe out here.
Right on, right on. Peace.
Peace.